Support for WYES is made possible by Mary Lou Kristovich in memory of her husband, William Kristovich.
I'm Peggy Laborde, and welcome to Steppin Out, spotlighting the New Orleans area's arts and entertainment scene. Seated at our table tonight, Poppy Tucker, host of the award-winning radio program Louisiana Eats, airing twice weekly on WWNO Radio. Hey, Miss Poppy.
Hello,
Good
Peggy.
to see you. Love the dress. So
Thank
pretty.
you.
She's back. It's been a while. Author Deb Burst here to talk about her new book, The Magical World of Trees. Welcome back. Hello, dear.
Hi.
And Steppin Out theater critic, Alan Smason, whose website is theatercriticism.com. Later in our program, we will have a scene from the Tennessee Williams play, One Arm, presented by the Tennessee Williams Theater Company of New Orleans. But first up, Poppy.
What I have to talk about first is really a public service announcement, because this is an incredible opportunity. The Catapult Fund 2018 is something that is being done through the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation. And they are calling the attention of chefs, restaurant owners, caterers, food truck operators, and other entrepreneurs, anybody with small Louisiana businesses in the culinary arts. So you apply, and you have up until April 16th. It's a free application, and what this is going to do is provide invaluable training and grant funding. Up to 12 Louisiana small businesses will be selected to participate. They all have to have a small Louisiana-based business in the food industry, and this is just an incredible thing. The money for the grants is coming from a pool of $50,000, and this is the second year they've done it. I just heard about it for the first time, and this is something that can really change people's lives. So anybody who knows that right sort of person with those big dreams, apply for this, the Catapult Fund. See about it. Then you may have forgotten to make reservations for Easter brunch. And I want to tell everybody that there is room at the Egg Extravaganza Easter at Toops South. And the hours are great. They're serving from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Wow.
So they hit that great time slot, whether you're just leaving church or getting ready to go to one of those parades downtown. You've got all this opportunity to eat at Toops. And oh, what Isaac is cooking up. It's 4 courses for $45, deviled egg caviar service, shrimp roll with yuzu dressing, brioche, chervil, or a warm spinach salad. The next course is a short rib poutine fries with cheese curds and a sunny side up egg. Doesn't that sound great? Or crab Florentine. Or for dessert coming up, the dessert's killing me, vanilla panna cotta with strawberry granita and chocolate cake with Luxardo cherry sauce.
Now, this is right next to Southern
Right
Food and
next to
Beverage.
the Southern Food and
That's a
Beverage
good deal.
Museum. Absolutely. And it's $45 for this great menu. And they will also have available a la carte waffles with honey butter and cane syrup, or his famous sourdough biscuits with crab fat butter. So head on over to Toops. Those big windows. It'll be sunny.
And
It'll
you can
be
park
gorgeous.
right outside. It's really easy to park.
Easy
People
park.
sometimes think it's not, but
Right
it
there
is.
on the
right
corner.
There right there.
Aretha Castle Haley and Martin Luther King. And then next Thursday night, I know this is, Holy Weekend, but they're hosting the Sinful Supper at the House of Blues, and I just really thought that this was hilarious. They did it actually last night on Holy Thursday for the first time, but they're repeating this next Thursday. It's 3 courses with 3 performances from bust-out burlesque ladies. Cherry Bombshell, Lily Allure, and Nikki LeVillienne. And I must say that I don't know how to have a better time for $75. Only in New Orleans would you have in Holy Week and the week after the Sinful Supper. So, all you sinners, head on down to the House of Blues. I'll see you there.
I'll have what you're having.
Thank you.
It's wild.
Right. Trees. We're into spring, Miss Deb.
Yes,
and obviously you have become very focused on it, haven't you?
Yes, I have. I call it my tree book, The Magical World of Trees. And it's special. And I guarantee after you read this book, you will never look at trees again. Honestly.
And we'll show you a lot as we chat here, too. Wow, how beautiful. That's a great cover. Where's the cover?
Parts of it are from Covington, that bigger picture. It's North Covington. And then there's a picture from, let's see, it's...
Point Coupé. There's lots of photos.
Yeah,
Point
Coupé.
We're going to show you an
Yes,
overview of
yes.
some of this, too. Yes.
Blue
So
Ridge
not just
Parkway.
Louisiana, though, huh? Yeah.
No, it goes all across the country, including California.
That's a big one. As we're showing the photos, though, you talk about how trees communicate.
Yes, yes.
And that's in Sequoia National Forest.
Yes,
huh? Yeah.
yes.
How do they communicate to you? And the Couturie Forest locally.
Yes. Well, first of all, they communicate with each other, with the roots, through the leaves. And then as you walk through the forest or a park or whatever, you're immediately going to find that a peace comes over you. And it's because of the oxygen. They're bathing you with oxygen, literally. And the frontal lobe of your brain will even, start emptying any kind of stress. Your heartbeat will go down. Yes, the color. And you just will completely come at peace. And they claim if you really sit down and study, it can be, a particular plant or flower. It's almost hypnotizing. And
do you have a favorite tree?
Yeah. Well, I'm torn between the live oak and the cypress.
Oh yes. Oh, you're a good Louisiana girl.
Yes, definitely.
Especially in New Orleans, the live oak.
Yes, and I love City Park and walking through the forest there. And Autumn Park's good too. I've had Tree of Life on my business card for 15 years now.
How many weddings have taken place at the Tree of Life? Right there by the stables as well too. Now you are prolific, kiddo. You've written many books, and especially since we're going into the Easter holidays, Spirits of the Bayou is one of your more recent ones. Tell us about that one too.
Spirits of the Bayou is an amazing trail of what I call Louisiana's sacred places. And so it covers everything from the churches to synagogues to cemeteries and even the bayou legends. That is, you go deep into the bayous, Jean Lafitte National Park down in Lafitte.
Little tiny chapels and stuff.
And yes, and at the end of each chapter are contacts, links that can...
So it's a guidebook, too.
It's a guidebook, too.
And you also did New Orleans, another book about a lot of places of worship in New Orleans, huh?
Yes.
The name of that one?
Hallowed Halls of Greater New Orleans.
I love that.
And Anne Rice did my foreword on that book, and it's still selling strong through History Press. But it's 5 books in 5 years.
Whoa! And you self-publish, don't you?
Yes,
You have your own publishing company.
The last 4 are my own publishing company, plus photography too. So it's really an endeavor, but it's a passion of mine to share the beauty of this state and the beauty across the world, actually, because there's some snippets here and there, some places in Europe.
And your website and contact info, we're going to show a full screen. What is your website?
It's my full name, DeborahBurst.com.
Okay, and you also do freelance travel writing, don't you? You're
Yes,
busy.
yes, and I'm going to be traveling to California by train later in April, and going to be writing about that too.
Okay, good. Thank you. Wonderful that you're here. And New Orleans Magazine's quiz queen, Julia Street, has a question for us. Last time, Michael Messina gave us the name of the Tennessee Williams play that has a lead character named Maggie, and who played her in the 1958 film version of the play. Of course, we're talking about Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, and Maggie was played by Elizabeth Taylor in the movie. Now, tonight's question. 2 of the French Quarter Easter parades are named after celebrities, celebrity women. One past, the other very present. Who are they? Email your answers to steppinout@wyes.org. Our prizes: a year subscription to Louisiana Life magazine, a dish towel with the message "Love is Shrimp and Grits" from our friends at wearablevegetables.com, very clever, and a pair of free admission passes to either the Audubon Zoo, Aquarium of the Americas, or the Butterfly Garden and Insectarium. You can go to wyes.org for our online calendar to see our lineup of upcoming events, including next Thursday, a new photo exhibit opening featuring the work of Herman Leonard, documenting what a nice man he was. The Giants of Jazz is at the New Orleans Jazz Museum at the Mint. And you can also link to our WYS YouTube channel to see our programs, past and present. One Arm is a Tennessee Williams short story and screenplay put into play form. The Tennessee Williams Theater Company of New Orleans is currently presenting it. And this afternoon, theater company co-director Augustin J. Correro joined us, along with actors Rachel Whitman-Groves and Adler Hyatt, who perform a scene. Augustin, you're in the 3rd season of the Tennessee Williams New Orleans Theater Company. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And a professional theater company that does strictly Tennessee. This one is a little more unusual. Tell us about it.
So this is our first step outside of specifically Tennessee Williams. The play One Arm is written by Moises Kaufman, but don't be fooled, it's an adaptation of a short story and a screenplay that Williams wrote in his lifetime that never received a production. And so what Moises Kaufman did was he adapted it for the stage. So it's not quite Tennessee Williams, but most of the words are still Tennessee Williams.
If you're a Tennessee Williams fan, you know that he wrote in such a prolific manner and saved everything, and sometimes even changed the endings on things too. So there's all these scraps of genius around, aren't there?
Yeah, of course. We say that you can't swing a cat in New Orleans without finding somebody who has an old Tennessee Williams letter or draft in their trunk in their attic, or his mother kept a lot of his material. So they say don't be a hoarder, but in her case it really paid off because we have so much of that brilliance lying around.
We need to also point out that this is for adults only, which is most of Tennessee. We assume that, but just in case. Okay.
Oh, absolutely.
Next up, one of my favorite plays, Vieux Carré.
Yeah, it's one of mine too. It's sort of like a sequel to The Glass Menagerie, if you want to think of it that way. It's a young writer, and he's named The Writer, T.W., like Tom Wingfield or Tennessee Williams. And it's the first time he comes to New Orleans to write, and he stays at 722 Toulouse Street, which was one of Tennessee Williams's first rooming houses.
Part of the historic New Orleans collection, and actually in the attic. And not much left of that apartment in the attic, but the staircase is exactly the same.
Still there,
and
still treacherous.
Yeah, that's right. And when will that open?
That's going to be in August at the Marigny Opera House, directed by Bo Bratcher.
Well, you're now on the boards at Zeitgeist until April 7th. So set up what we're about to see, please.
Sure. So Ollie Olson, who is the main character of this play, works on the street as a hustler because when he lost his arm, he could no longer box or serve in the military. But that doesn't mean that his job is his whole life. Nobody's job is their whole life. So he meets a girl while he's out and about and thinks maybe this might work out as long as he could keep his past to himself, or if she won't judge him. So it's a tender scene.
Once again, our actors?
Our actors are Adler Hyatt and Rachel Whitman-Groves.
And now a scene from One Arm.
There now. Who enters first?
You better. I don't know the place.
You go in first. I want to see if you see the particular reason I chose it.
Okay. I'll go in first.
Oh, no. No match.
I think you took it because of the skylight.
That's the reason exactly. Shall I turn on a lamp, or is the skylight enough?
It's enough for me.
enough for me, too. There aren't any chairs in the room. Not a single chair, so you'll have to choose between the floor and the bed under the skylight. But the first thing I want you to do, if you'll oblige me, is get out of these wet things and rub yourself dry with a towel. Here's a towel. Do you want to undress in the room or in the bathroom? No. Undress in here, and then look up on the bed at the skylight as the low clouds run over like a parade of enormous roses. They're lighted by the neon signs downtown, but I'd rather think that they had the light from inside them. Get out of your wet things, and I'll rub you dry with a towel.
I can do it myself.
Oh, I know you can. But don't deprive me of the enjoyment, please.
What?
The enjoyment, please.
And you can see One Arm at the Zeitgeist Multidisciplinary Arts Center through April 7th. Visit the Tennessee Williams Theater Company of New Orleans' website to purchase tickets. And now it's time for our Artist Spotlight. Tonight we are featuring a showcase of course, the official poster for the 40th anniversary of the All-State Sugar Bowl Crescent City Classic by famed local painter Frenchie. Frenchie is known for his live-action painting and has painted everything from Mardi Gras to Jazz Fest. The 40th anniversary medallion, there's also a medallion I wanted to show you, is actually the largest anybody gives away in terms of those kinds of races. And it portrays a 70s theme with each one hand-painted. This year's Crescent City Classic is Saturday, and of course the race will begin at the Mercedes-Benz Superdome and will end at City Park. And you can visit ccc10k.com to register for the race and to purchase a Frenchie poster. Now, Alan.
Well, you know, before I get to the theater segment, I wanted to thank Deb because I actually helped contribute to her Spirits on the Bayou book. Mm-hmm. And I guess you're sort of branching out with this new book of yours. I don't want to go out on a limb.
Well, it's a sacred place.
But no, I'm glad to see, because it was after a Steppin Out episode, if you will, that we actually talked about doing some of the Jewish cemeteries.
Yeah.
So anyway, as far as the Tennessee Williams Festival, it's over with, of course. But one of the nice things about it is that this is the time of year when a lot of the productions that started during the Tennessee Williams New Orleans Literary Festival continue. And the work you just saw, One Arm, is going to continue the Zeitgeist Multi-Arts Disciplinary, whatever it is, Center. I have to tell you, this is a very fine production. It is, again, Moise Kaufman's work. It is not Tennessee Williams, but it is, as he said, based on a screenplay that was never realized and a short story that Tennessee Williams had written in his lifetime. And Moise Kaufman really is true to what I believe is the essence of the story, and also to part of what Tennessee's life was about. I think the big question that begs to be asked about One Arm is beauty enhanced by imperfection, by perhaps, if you will, a compulsion to beautify by destroying, a work of art in essence? Let's say the Venus de Milo. Would it be considered as beautiful were her arms intact? And these are the questions I think that are asked in this play. What happens is, of course, as you mentioned, Augustin Correro is the director. It tells the story of this Ollie Olson, a beautiful specimen of a man who was a boxer. He's a champion of the Pacific Fleet. He loses this limb and then loses his way in life. He actually becomes, a street hustler. He's transformed from a cocky, overconfident pugilist into this man who's lost his way, who essentially lets men and women, as you can see, who are attracted to this infirmity or this deformity, approach him, and he uses them for money. It's a fetish or an attraction that a lot of people may not know about. It's an attraction for monopedes. And again, this is something that people discuss sexually. Some people are attracted to these things. Adler Hyatt plays Ollie, does a spectacular job. And as you can see, probably, he has a device in which he keeps his arm fixed behind his back so that you don't get the mistaken impression that he still has his arm. And again, David Williams plays Sean, the writer, who's very much like Tennessee Williams. The female roles are played, as you saw, by Rachel Whitman-Groves, and other notable roles include Bob Eads Jr., who does a wonderful Mrs. Wire, which we'll hear about later on with View Carré, and Christopher Robinson does a number of parts as well. Jackson Townsend, by the way, plays Cherry. This is, I don't know if I call it a madam or a pimp, because it's sort of a dual role there, but she plays this to demand the money for the services that Ollie has from the men, of course, that they proposition. It's partially set in New Orleans, partially set in New York, and partially set in a prison. The set is by Joey Sothoff. It's very inventive, and I have to say that I think it really fits well into this kind of experimental place because they don't do a lot of plays there, but I really did enjoy it. I think that the performances are excellent, and if you get a chance to see this, it's going to be on the boards through April the 7th. Now, meanwhile, Rent. We have heard about Rent. The 20th anniversary of Rent is actually past because it really started last year, but we in New Orleans are on the back end of the tour, and so we're going to see this in the second year of its touring life. The original Rent, of course, opened at the Nederlander Theater in 1996. I was very lucky to be able to see the original cast, and this tour, although making it to the Sanger on the 17th of April, should have some good songs, etc. for everybody. I think that everybody who knows 565,600 minutes, etc. We'll know 525,600 minutes. We'll know that song, Seasons of Love. Again, I'm expecting that this will be a good production. I'm looking forward to that. Also, want to remind everybody the New Orleans Symphony Chorus has a very unusual piece that's being done. It's based on the diary of Anne Frank. It's called Anneliese. Now, that's her Dutch name, Anneliese, for Anne and Anne Frank. And it's based, again, on a piece that a fellow by the name of James Whitbourne did. It's about a 70-minute long oratorio, if you will, and it's going to be playing at Touro Synagogue on Friday night, April the 13th, and then, as you would expect, on a Sunday, it'll play in a church at St. Mary's Catholic Church during the French Quarter Festival. So get a chance to get out there. This is going to be the first presentation of this work in the city. Also, speaking of music, the Friends of Music are inviting everybody for a free concert and cocktails, pay as you go. This will be with the Miro Quartet, who will hail out of Austin at the Ace Hotel. Cocktails with the Miro Quartet, and if you don't make it for that one, perhaps on Monday the 9th, you'll check out the former Louisiana Philharmonic Orchestra principal clarinetist Stephen Cohen, who now teaches at Northwestern. He's going to join the Miro Quartet for an evening of music. This will be at Loyola at the Roussel Hall instead of at the typical place at Dixon Hall. So keep in mind that it'll be at a different venue.
All right, thank you so much. Time for our picks now. Poppy.
Okay, you can't make this up. Tomorrow is the NOLA Brewing Easter Keg Hunt. Keg Hunt from 1 until 6. The Keg Hunt is a scavenger hunt. Teams are given clues. They race to the finish line where there are ample kegs. It starts at 504 Craft Beer Reserve at 3939 Tulane, and Sexual Thunder will be playing at the final destination. It's only $25. It benefits the Gulf Restoration Network, and you get to drink all that beer.
Great, Deb.
Well, I have my books available on my website, deborahburst.com, and I have a brand new interview by Dr. Jeanette Gallagher on her blog Radio, and you can see that information on my Facebook page, which is under Deborah Burst.
Okay, thank you.
Well, Mark Shaman's musical Catch Me If You Can, based on the movie that starred Leonardo DiCaprio, is going to be hitting the boards in April the 13th, and that's going to be at the Jefferson Performing Arts Center for 2 weeks, so check it out. I think that it'll be a lot of fun. This will be the first time that it's appearing here in New Orleans.
All right, great. And before we go to my picks, we wanted to wish a happy 100th birthday to Mrs. Aloysius Scallan Watermeier. Oh my goodness, she was one of the first nurse anesthetists in New Orleans, and she worked at Touro Infirmary for 35 years. She's a mother of 3 and has 2 grandchildren, an amazing and very, very sweet lady, and we have some family members. You can see the family members with her, but congratulations to Mrs. Watermeier. And photos from this year's Super Sunday with the Mardi Gras Indians at A.L. Davis Park. Special thanks to Judy Bottoni for these great images. It's especially exciting to see little ones learning the craft of creating the intricate hand-sewn costumes. Apart from Mardi Gras, the Indian tradition traditionally takes, of course, place around Mardi Gras, but also around St. Joseph's Day, which, of course, is in St. Joseph's honor. jpatoni@gmail.com is a way to contact this amazing photographer. And now time for my picks. The Friends of the Jefferson Public Library are holding their big book sale all next weekend at the Pontchartrain Center in Kenner. Admission is free and there's free parking. Visit the website on your screen for more details. And oh my goodness, look who's here! Here in the studio, it's the Elmer's Easter Bunny. Hi!
Hello,
I bet
Bunny.
they've got some great locally produced. Oh, Poppy,
Absolutely.
let's pick some out.
It's my favorite, a dark chocolate heavenly hash.
Look at that! And you've got what? Strawberry heavenly hash. Look
yum.
at. I guess we've got a Easter Bunny. We got to show your basket. Look
I'm
how,
so glad
look
the
at
bunny
all the
came
wonderful
this year.
things. And there's a double nut gold brick fudge egg.
Yum.
I think that's pretty new.
Never heard of that one.
Woohoo! Look at that. And of course, the ever reliable gold brick. I'll show you these
And the
among them.
pecan egg.
Oh my gosh, we
endlessly
love the
delicious.
Easter Bunny.
Oh.
We're going to be doing here's the pecan egg, the usual pecan eggs too, huh? So yeah, thanks to Elmer's and Easter Bunny. Man, you're coming early, but we hope you come back, on Sunday as well.
Absolutely. Please come back on Sunday. But thanks for coming early.
Wow, and it smells good too. But I keep going back to the regular gold brick egg, but I like those other
Well,
options, don't
anybody
you?
who's curious about how Elmer's does this candy can listen to Louisiana Eats tomorrow.
all right.
Because we're taking a tour. They roll the clock back 50 years in order to bring us our Easter candy at that very highly automated state-of-the-art plant in Ponchatoula.
And they've been around for so long
Oh,
too.
gosh,
talk
they're
about
the
New
oldest.
Orleans Easter baskets, huh?
When I used to have the record shop, Miss Ruth Elmer would bring us freshly made heavenly hash. Now that's being spoiled, I'm telling you.
That's really, really nice. Well, thank you, Bunny. And now we will leave you with scenes from this year's Tennessee Williams New Orleans Literary Festival Stanley and Stella Shouting Contest. The winner, who you'll see at the very end, was Roger Bartlett from the UK. Thank you for watching and happy Easter. Good night. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you,
Hey,
Mr.
Bunny.
Bunny.
Yes.
Easter Bunny. It's my favorite.
Rip it all away! That was lovely, but now I'm gonna have to hem that back together. Yes, darling, you've come from a very far, far away place. I would like some more. Yes, dear. It's like your favorite soccer team or football team is playing, but you can be a little bit louder.